Hi, I'm George Pearson, and in this Photoshop Elements Blending Pictures video, we'll be merging several photos here to create this sci-fi landscape effect. Now if you enjoy this video, make sure that you click the like button and also subscribe to my channel. If you want to learn everything about Photoshop Elements, take a look at my complete training titles, and you'll find links for that up in the YouTube cards and also down in the description. Okay, let's get to it. This Photoshop Elements Blending Pictures project combines several pictures. Let me just hide some stuff here. We can see everything. So the first one we have here is this mesa, and then another mesa here on the left hand side. We need to blend those two together. Of course, there's a picture of Saturn right here, and then there's this starscape in the background, which I need to do a little bit of adjustment on to make this work out just fine. And behind all of that, of course, is just a black background. Let's hide those stars again. There's the black background. Okay, let's go ahead now and see how this is done. I'm going to start off with a brand new file. Let's just close this one down here. And we'll start off with the default Photoshop Elements size, which is 6x4 at a resolution of 300, and choose OK. There we go. Now inside here, we need to bring in our images. The first one I want to bring in is just our two background bits, our background stars. We'll adjust those. So go up here to File and Place. And I have that right here. Now all of these images, there are links for downloading these on my video support page. You'll find that. Let's go ahead and open this up. That's in the description, of course. There we go. There's the basic starscape. Now I want to get rid of this little nebula right there. We don't need that nebula. Let's just go ahead and remove that quickly. We also don't need all these big bright stars. I just really want to get rid of this. And I'll use the clone stamp for that. Right now I have it set at a soft edge, 60 pixels, but it's not that critical for this one step. I'll just grab something over here. This is the Alt key and click. It's a smart layer because we placed it. So I'll have to go ahead and simplify that as we go. There we are. So Alt click, and then let's just quickly grab a little bit of this space out here with some basic stars and just kind of paint over that. There we go. That's gone. And I'll set this back to fit on screen. I'll just slide this over here to the left hand side. There we are. And let's make a duplicate of this layer. Just drag it to the new layer button, and we'll flip this. Image, rotate, and flip layer horizontal. And then just drag this to the other side. There we go. Let's kind of get that placed in. Now don't worry about this stuff down here. That's going to be hidden with our landscape, so that's going to get rid of that. But I want to get rid of some of this duplication in here. We'll do that first by merging these two layers. Hold the Control key down, click on the second layer here, right click, and then merge layers. And then we're just going to take some of the stars in here and just kind of put them in over here. Again, clone stamp tool. I'll go for a little larger size this time, maybe about 200. That's pretty good. And Alt click, and then just a little bit of stuff. So click over here and a little bit over there. Click over here, a little bit over here, and get rid of some of those real obvious stars in there that we don't need those. And there we go. Just kind of messes things up a little bit, randomizes things just a bit. Put a few more stars up here towards the top. There we go. All right, that takes care of the background. At this point, we don't need to worry about the background down here. It's going to be covered up completely by this. This is our new background layer. We can now bring in our foreground landscapes. We'll put the Saturn in after the landscapes are basically in place. We'll then go back and adjust everything. So let's bring in our first landscape. File and Place again. We're using this one right here. Choose Place. There it is. And just click on the green check mark. We'll leave this at this size, but I want to pull it way over here a bit. So we're just kind of catching that edge. And if you look at the rock down here, you see there's this rock right there and a little bit of a shadow here. You can see a little bit of that edge down there. Take it over to about that location. So it's about the right hand side. Now I need to get rid of this sky up in here. And we'll do that with the magic wand. There we go. I have my tolerance set at 19. Anywhere around 15 to 20 is okay. And then click up into the sky. I'm also using anti-alias. This just helps to soften up the edges. And then once you click once, make sure it says add over here, and that's this option. And then come in and click in a few more areas in here. And this is going to expand the selection. You need to be clicking inside of those spots. And it's kind of expanding out our selection a bit. If you can't quite see it at this point, we can just zoom in. And we can get those other little bits in here pretty quickly. Now, since it is grabbing everything that matches, if you get one, it's going to get everything else that's similar to that. Notice I have contiguous not checked down here. Very important. So you're missing anything, it's a little bit right there. We can clean the mask up if we need to once we are finished with this step. But the less you have to finish, the better off things are. Okay, that looks pretty good and clean. Nice edge up here. The reason the magic wand works out well here is because we have one color out here, blue, and then this kind of red, orange, yellowy color in here in the rock, so that it's nice and distinctly different between those two. So the magic wand is an easy tool to use for this. Let's just see if there's anything else what we're missing in here. I think everything is okay. Looks good. Also, take a look into the rock face in here, see if anything is hiding. Sometimes you'll get a little piece in here that might show up, although I'm not seeing anything. I think we are clean. We'll double check that. Okay, that looks good. Let's now set this back to fit on screen. And notice that the sky is selected. What I want is the ground selected. So let's go up to Select and Inverse. And the reason why I selected the sky and not the ground is because the ground has a lot more values in it. There's less to select up on the sky. Once that's done, then we can just go over here and click on the Layer Mask button, like that. There's our layer mask, and that's now sitting out there in space. That side is taken care of. Let's do our other side next. Go up to File and Place again, and that's this mesa down here. Choose Place, and there we go, and choose OK. Now if you notice, if I pull this over here, on this one the light is coming in from the right hand side. On this the light's coming in from the left hand side. So we need to flip this the other direction. So go up to Image, Rotate, Flip Layer Horizontal. There we are. Now leave it the same size again, that's fine. And then just pull it over. You can see here we have, like, the dark shadow, and then there's one shadow section and a second shadow section right there. That's the one that you want to put against that edge. There's also kind of a dark shadow here. Take it out. That's just outside. Just like that, and that to fit in nicely right there. And that is what I used in my picture, is that position. It's almost to the center. Here's your center mark for that picture. It's almost to the center. So this is almost 1/2, and that's almost 1/2. We'll do the exact same trick here for the layer mask for this side. Back to the magic wand, and we'll just start clicking into the sky and the clouds here and try to catch all these pieces. It's a little bit right there. Don't want to touch that. We'll clean that out in a second. Okay, the sky looks good. So there's like a little blinky thing right there. Let's just zoom in on that and see what we've got hiding down there. Okay, and this time there are a few things, a few spots down here. I want to remove those from this selection. So let's go over here and grab the lasso tools, regular lasso tool, change the setting here to subtract, and then just draw a big lasso loop around that area. That removes those. Okay, looks clean over here. Looks clean down below. And let's fit this back on the screen again. Same thing, we're going to be inverting this. So Selection, Inverse, and back to our Layer Mask button again. And there we go. So that is now on the left-hand side. Okay, now we need to merge these two together, blend these together. I want to do some color change in here. Let's take care of that part of this first, and then we'll take care of our merging things together. Now, to do this color change, I need to change this layer into a regular layer instead of a smart layer. Same thing for this layer down below. So let's right click where the name is and simplify layer. Come down to this one, right click where the name is, and again simplify layer. There's a little icon right there that just disappears. This is now just regular graphics instead of being smart layers. Okay, on this side over here I want to get rid of this green coloration in here and make it match this over here. I'll just zoom in just a couple of notches. There we go. And we'll go up here to Enhance, come down to Adjust Color, and Replace Color. And just click into the green somewhere down there, and then click on the Add or plus button and get the darker greens. And that should, light green and dark green, that should get everything you want in here. I have my fuzziness set at about 50. It's pretty good. That should get everything that's green in this picture. Kind of an olive drab shown over here. That's what we're changing it to. So I'm just going to move this hue to the left. Notice as I do that, I lose that green effect. Just a bit. It gets a bit hot. Let's go ahead and just move our saturation just a touch. Just kind of pull that green out. I'll have to do this a couple of times to get it exactly right. But I first want to get rid of the green. And that looks pretty good. It's a little bit purplish. We'll take care of that on a second pass here. Okay, choose OK. Now let's do it again. Enhance, Adjust Color, Replace Color. Let's come back in here and get that kind of a purplish effect. That's in here. I think that's probably right in there somewhere. And let's shift our hue to the right this time. And we're pretty much now getting rid of that green tone. We're left with just kind of browns and a little bit of a slight purplish tint in there, which is okay. It's a nice contrast with the oranges up there. And click OK. Let's come into this one last time on this one. Same thing, Adjust Color and Replace Color, and try to get some of that purplish that's right up in here. Looks pretty good. And let's just pull that to the right a little bit. Notice we're not going into the greens, which is here, but we're just kind of removing a bit of that purplish effect. So just a little bit. Just kind of tweaking back and forth. And choose OK. All right, that kind of tones down that. Let's get rid of this green right in here on this side. And that's the second layer. Same trick. Enhance, Adjust Color, Replace Color. Click into that green tone right in there. And let's just push that a little bit to the left side. Just a little more in there. There we go. It's getting, again, removing that greenish tone. And choose OK. All right, so far so good. Now I need to bring the overall tones here over to match these tones a bit. We've gotten rid of our greens. Let's go ahead and adjust this. That's our top layer. Layer, new adjustment layer. This time let's do a Hue Saturation and link this to that layer, but that little checkbox. Choose OK. And now we can adjust our hue slider a little bit and our saturation slider just a little bit, and we can get these colors closer together. And that's pretty good right there. That's about where I want it actually. They can be a little off on color because we're going to be blending these together, and that works out well. And this is kind of the lee side here of this, and this is the front side, so that works out all right. Now it's still just a little bit purplish in here. So I'm going to change this here to the magentas. And let's see if we can bring the magentas down a bit. Actually, that's not doing anything for me, so let's change this and let's try the reds. There it is. That's what it is. So let's do a little more blue in there to adjust that color. Okay. Looks pretty good. I like those values. I think we're looking nice at this point. Now we need to just brighten this up just a little bit. Another adjustment layer. So layer, adjustment layer, this time levels, and again clip this to that one layer, choose OK. And let's bring the lights up a little bit here on the right hand side. So we're kind of matching the values over there, so that value matches this value, and I think that's real close. Okay, now a little bit of working back and forth on this. I'm going to zoom in here, and see where the rock comes down right like that. I want to leave this in and just take this little piece out here, that little bit right there. And that's on our lower level. We can do that with the layer mask. Here's our layer mask, and I'll just grab the lasso tool, polygonal lasso tool, and I'm going to come in here and just do a little lasso right along there, and then I'm going to just pull this out a little bit. So it's kind of curves down there. There we go. And up and around here and back down to the beginning. And double click. There we go. So I just selected that area. Now I can use black. Black hides, white shows. Want to hide this. Remember, a paintbrush. Size is too big. Let me bring that way down. That's pretty good, 26 or so. And then just paint black into that area. And then deselect. Okay, so that kind of merges in nicely right there. Now I want to pull some of this landscape over into here, and some of this landscape over into here, and some of this landscape over into here. Just kind of zigzag our way down. So let's go to our top layer. That's this side. Grab the clone stamp tool, and let me bring the size down to about 100 or so. That's pretty good. Hold the Alt key down, click over in here someplace, and then just paint a little bit of that over into this side. Notice I'm using a soft edge brush on that, real soft edge. Now this matches that, so I'm going to grab a bit here and just kind of attach it there so we don't really have that matching too much. Let's now pull a little bit of this over down onto here. That's on this layer. Now I need to put this up to the top layer. So I'll come in here, hold the Alt key down, click in here, move to the top layer, and then come down with just a touch of that. And the reason I went to the top layer is because this is on top of that. If I did it down here, you wouldn't see it. It would be in behind that piece. Okay, let's take a little bit of this over here. That's on the top layer again. And Alt click here. And we're still on the top layer. So I'm just going to paint just a little bit of that right into there. Just kind of pulls this stuff into that picture. Looks good. Just a little bit right here I want to adjust, and I think we're okay. I'll take a little bit of this stuff here, click, and then I'll just come in right just like that. Just kind of matching or blending in different parts of the picture, just kind of overlapping them and zigzagging them. Now right here, it's not great right down in there. I'm going to pull just a little bit of this. Now again, down to this layer, Alt key, and click right there. Change layers. You can go ahead and merge one layer to another in here like that. It's still too bright on this. What's happening is we're actually getting these controls up here changing the values as I'm overlapping that. So let me try something a little bit different on that piece right here. I'm going to take a little bit of maybe this stuff right here. It's that layer. Let's go further over. That's a good spot right there. Grab that. Okay, that looks good. Just kind of blending back and forth. And again, we're always pasting onto, cloning onto the top layer, but sometimes we're grabbing from the layer underneath, but then going back to the top layer to paste that in again. And back to our fit screen. Looks good. Okay, now we need to put Saturn in here. Let's go ahead and bring in our Saturn picture, and that comes in behind. It's above the stars. So File and Place. There's the Saturn picture. Choose Place. There it is. Now it needs a lot of work, as you can see. It's in the wrong spot, obviously, and it's upside down. So let's just flip this over, and we'll rotate that. So Image, Rotate, and we'll rotate 180 degrees. It just flips it around. Let's now come just outside. Click on the corner right there and come just outside the corner and pull that around until it's at about a 20-degree angle, which is right about right about there, 20-degree angle. Choose OK. And the size you want is up to you. This is bigger than I used before, but it's kind of a nice look. What I did was smaller. I'm going to grab the corner here and just pull it in a little bit. And I had it just about like that, right about in there. And that's down to about 74-75%. You could, of course, just come down here and type in 75%, just like that. Looks pretty good. Now we need to clean up the black around this. It's a little bit tricky on this. I'm just going to hide everything else here. There we are. Now the problem on this is that we can't just use the magic wand or something to grab this black, because it's going to come into the rings here and other stuff is going to cause some problems. So we're just going to erase out and just stay just a little bit outside. Now to make the erasing easier, just use the elliptical marquee tool over here. Now it's a little bit tricky on this one. We know what our rotation is, so I'm going to rotate this back again. And I'll grab the outside. Just click on the little control handles right there. And then set this at a -20, puts it back to flat again. And now let's grab the elliptical marquee. And we're just going to kind of pull this around until we get just outside of that shape. If it's not quite exactly right, and leave it out just a little ways. Go up here to Select, Transform Selection, and then you can just pull this around a bit. Now again, I don't want it right up against that edge, just a little ways out from the edge. Let's now invert the selection. So select, inverse, there we go. Now I can erase down around here, and I can erase up around here. Let's get that taken care of. Grab the eraser tool. 34 pixels, that's okay. And again, this is a placed image, so it comes in as a smart layer. Just choose OK to convert that to a regular layer, that's fine. And I'll just erase right around the edge like that and get kind of close to that corner there. Doesn't need to be perfect. And same thing up here. Just erase up around that edge like that. Now down here, the ring is going to be coming back in here somewhere, so just kind of visualize that. Just only take about that far. Let's now get these outer sections. Grab the elliptical marquee. Let's deselect this. There we go. And kind of make a new selection in here. So it pulls it, kind of about right. Doesn't have to be perfect. Close enough. Let's now go up to Select and Transform Selection. I'll just pull the bottom in a little bit and pull the top down just a little bit, and just edge it in back and forth until you get closer. And that's close enough. Doesn't need to be perfect. Keep it just a little ways away. Again, we need to invert this selection, so select and inverse right there. Back to the eraser tool, and let's just erase right around that edge. There we go. Nice and clean. And same thing around this edge. There we go. We can then deselect. Once you have that done, you can then use the magic wand, click outside here. Now I need to make one change on that. Let me just deselect that. Make sure that you have contiguous selected, which means touching. And that will now get just the outside part of that black. Hit the delete key. Deletes that out, and then deselect. Missed a little bit right there. It's one of the other moons of Saturn. I'm just going to erase that moon. There we are. Okay, that's good. That's all nicely taken care of now. Now if I bring the stars back in again, looks perfect, as you can see. Alright, let's click on the corner one more time, and let's put our angle back to 20 degrees again. Choose OK. And that's now set. Let's go ahead and bring this back to full screen and bring back in the rest of our adjustments. And there Saturn is. Now, at this point, you may like this. I think it needs a little bit of fine tuning Two things. I think that these stars are a bit too much. It's more of a science fiction-y look here, not quite a realistic science illustration, so it's a bit too much on the stars. So we'll adjust that, and I think the Saturn can be a bit brighter on this. It's first to our stars. This one's easy. All you have to do is change the blend mode here, and we're also going to be adjusting our sharpness. Let's do our sharpness first. If I zoom in, you'll see what I mean. Over here, see how sharp the rocks are in front, and this is really kind of blurry back there. We need to get those closer together. Okay, back to fit on screen. So go up to Enhance, come down to Adjust Sharpness, and in here, there you go. See what happens when you adjust that sharpness. Now the settings that I'm using on this one, I have the amount set at 435. This is what I used last time on this. So that's 435 and radius at 0.9, and remove Gaussian blur. You can see what happens if I bring the amount down and back up. You can see it kind of sharpens everything up. Now what's happening when it's doing this is it's increasing the edge contrast on those, and that's what we want to have happening. So it's 435 on that, and then 0.09, choose OK. Now it's too many stars up here, and I don't really like this stuff down below either, so I want to kind of tone everything down, and I'll do that with a blend mode. Now you may like this, you may want to leave it at that setting, that's up to you. There's two ways to go with this one. But to change our blend mode, we need to blend this into something in the background. Right now I have white behind. I'm going to change this, go down to the background, and let's set our colors back to their default colors, little icon right there. Grab the paint bucket, just click inside, and that fills the background with black. So now go back to our stars, and we'll change the blend mode here to hard light. There we go. Just kind of knocks everything down. We have fewer stars showing, which I think looks more realistic. They're more point size, so it's more of a realistic look on the stars now. There we go. That takes care of the stars. Last thing I want to do now is just kind of punch up the values here in Saturn. So go to the Saturn layer, and let's put a layer adjustment on this. So layer adjustment layer levels right there, and use previous layer to create clipping mask. Check that, choose OK. And we're just going to be bringing up the brightness over here on the right hand side. So as I bring it up and get real bright in there, that's what we're doing. And it doesn't need much. Bring it up to about 210. Looks pretty good. Let me just click on the eye here, and you can see it is before and after. There's before and there's after. Just brightens it up nicely and looks better with the overall image. And there we go. There is our Saturn photograph. I'm just going to pull this out like that, just float that out and zoom in a bit to see us better. There we go. So there's our nice little Saturn picture, kind of in the style of the illustrations back in the 1950s and early 1960s. So there you have it, using Photoshop Elements to blend several pictures together to create a new composite space landscape. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you found it useful. If you like this video, click on the like button below to let others know. You can click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos in the future. I'm frequently uploading new training videos. Don't forget to check out my website at howtogurus.com.